Hey guys, welcome to the narrated version of Sharknado. In this first fight I'm in a shield buffer Jaguar. What that means is that I've got a medium shield extender and a adaptive invulnerability field along with a micro warp drive and a scram. Top rack is autocannons. I believe they're 150s. I'm not 100% sure about that. I would have used the biggest I could fit. So you see here what happened is I warped down to a POS, a player-owned structure on a moon that was being attacked by Brave, and they had a huge fleet of mostly just DPS ships. I didn't want to fight here because even though those big ships have a very small chance of doing any damage to me, there's so many of them that, you know, you roll the dice 100 times and there's a good chance somebody's going to hit you. So it's best I warp off. So I picked an obvious belt, very obvious, and warped to the most obvious belt I could, knowing that their tackle would probably follow me. Hopefully, they don't always. But it was worth a shot, and it turned out it worked. So here's Lumpy Mayo and his crow. First thing I do, I want to get right on top of him. I don't want to kite him. If he kites me in that crow, which most crows are going to want to kite you, that's what they do. If they kite you, you're dead. You can't do anything in the Jaguar. All you can do is try to run away, maybe bounce them into range. But I know he has backup, so I have to kill him really fast. I warped to the belt at 0, hoping he would land at 0. I got lucky. So I get on him, I'm overloading my guns, making sure I'm staying on him. I haven't turned on my invul yet because you see my capacitor's not all that great. So here I am, I got a little bit greedy, I started looting, and then, uh-oh, another crow's in. So, loot all, let's hurry up and try to warp out. Nope, I'm pointing before I can warp. So, now I gotta fight. I lock up the guy pointing me, there was a guy that was closer that probably would have been a better target, but whatever. Lock up the guy pointing me. Again, the most crucial thing I can do here is get a scram. I get the scram, lose it for a second, get it back. Now that there's more DPS on the field, I've turned my invul on and I've overloaded it. It can overload for a long time, like 4 minutes. So I might as well overload it for the duration of the fight. I'm about to kill this next crow here and go to the other one. But you see he's 31k away, so I decide not to go for him. I try to warp out. No, I'm being pointed. Can't do that. So I'm going to charge in, grab this guy, boom. So I wasn't pointed for a second there, but so now I'm staying on this guy. I'm going to shoot this guy. You see a whole lot more DPS is coming in, a whole lot more tackle. My odds of getting out at this point are 0. I'm dead. I should have stayed on the crow, but for some reason I thought I would switch over to the slasher. Maybe I was trying to break tackle, break that web. I don't know. But had I stayed on the crow, there's a chance I would have killed the third crow. But either way, I took on, what was it, 80 people and an 80-man fleet, pulled off some tackle, killed 2 crows, lost a jag. I'm happy. In this next fight, I was in the dual rep Deimos. I was fighting against a Mega and a Vexor Navy issue. Mega, obviously, it's a battleship, typically blaster, sometimes rail, but almost always blaster. The Vexor Navy issue is a drone boat. It can have rails, it can have blasters, but it's almost always primarily a drone boat, and its turret damage is somewhat negligible. So I'm in Gonditsa. It's a 0.3 low-sec system, and it's on the edge of high-sec, so it's an entrance system from high-sec to low-sec. In the past, it has been the most violent low-sec system at different times when it was heavily camped by different groups. It's traded that title off with many other systems. I warped the gate to 0. I saw these 2 guys here, and I started thinking about how I can fight them. You can see that the dual rep Damos has an AAR and a Tech 2 armor repair. So it has 2 reps, one of them being an AAR. The AAR reps way more than the Tech 2, but the AAR has a limited number of charges and a limited number of cycles before it runs out and then has to go into a long 1-minute reload time. So you see there, I tried to find a way to get them to fight, and I realized that if I fought right there underneath them, I probably could not tank both of them, much less, I don't know what friends they have in system. I don't know what else is going to come back in. So I warped to one of my tacticals on this gate, about 200 off it, maybe 300, I'm not sure, and then I warped back down to the gate. But when I came back to the gate, I warped to the gate at 50. So what I'm thinking here is, if they really want to fight me, they're going to send that Vexor Navy issue off the gate to attack me. They're going to charge it in at me, and they're going to come at me to try to fight. And if they do that, the Mega's going to be so slow, he's not going to get there in time. So right now, they're kind of telegraphed what they're going to do by putting out drones. So all I have to do is wait. I'm doing keep at range 100k to kind of back off a little bit more. So instead of being at 50k, maybe we'll start this fight at 60k or something. So I'm wanting to back off just a little bit more before the fight starts. You can see he's coming in. He's just about within range of scramming. He's engaged me. Okay, so at this point you can see he's taking DPS not just from me, but also from the gate guns. So I've got an advantage here. Even though there's 2 of them and only 1 of me, I've got a 350 DPS advantage on the targets. Notably, that will switch after the first 30 seconds. Right now, the Megathron is at 55k away, and he's charging in, but he's so far away that's not going to make a big difference. I believe it's the Vexor Navy issue that has those guards out on the gate there, but I think they're so far away that they can't do any reasonable amount of DPS to me. So I'm doing fairly well here. The Mega's trying to shoot me, but it's too far away. Vexor Navy is just going down. I've got Hammerhead 2s. Gives me a little bit more DPS, but the primary DPS for the Deimos comes out of the blasters. I've got a scram web because tracking can be a problem on some of the smaller targets. Some people, I think, run something else instead of the web in some cases. Selectively overloading the guns, not burning them out, but trying to get as much DPS as I can. I want to kill this Vexor Navy issue before the Mega arrives, because the Mega, I can avoid most of his DPS once I get in under his guns. However, I don't want to be fighting the Vexor Navy issue at the same time as I'm fighting the Mega. So you see they're stressing my tank just a little bit here, so I've had to turn on my AAR. By default, I run the Tech 2 armor repair first, and then only run the AAR if I need it. Technically, you should overload your AAR whenever you run it, because you get a little bit more armor for your money, and since it's limited, you might as well get huge boosts from it until the end. I hadn't really started doing that at the time of this video, but later I've since added that to the way I fly. So you can see I'm repping easily. The Vexor Navy issue's down. Now it's time for the Mega. I need to get in close on him, so I'm going to pulse my micro warp drive 1 cycle. Doing that, unfortunately, gave him great tracking and allowed him to hit me pretty hard. So I have to turn on both armor repairs just for a second. I'm also selectively overheating my armor repairs. So he's doing some good DPS to me. That's because I'm coming straight at him trying to get within range. I haven't yet got any transversal on him. So I've got to just tank like hell and try to get under his guns. Once I get a little bit closer, his guns are going to stop hitting me very hard. And you can see that coming into effect right now. My tank is easily holding. But unfortunately, boom, I'm ECM droned. He has ECM drones out. He's trying to run away. This is one of the sad, unfortunate parts of solo PvP, is that you'll get an awesome fight like this where you're about to kill a Vexor Navy issue, which is, you know, a pretty similar ship to your own, plus a Megathron. And they use ECM drones and you're screwed. So I get another lock. So I've got another chance here. I'm not going to waste it. I'm locking up all of his ECM drones, and I'm going to kill as many as I can, as fast as I can, so that they will not get another jam cycle in. I kill one. I'm using my web to slow him down so I can shoot him faster. Now another ECM drone cycle. So I'm going to try to get lock again, try to get lock. Another thing you could do here potentially is try to get a bump on him, but that rarely works. And he's gone. He warps off. So you see I was using my guns and my web there. Just in frigates and anything. If you're going to be attacking drones, you want to use your web. Slow the drones down. They're like little frigates, basically. They're smaller than frigates. And if you want to be able to hit them, you really need to use your web to slow them down so that you can hit them. And also, it's a good idea to put your drones on them. I probably could have executed a little bit better there with the killing of ECM drones by putting my drones on one of his drones, then going to another one of his ECM drones and putting my guns and web on that one. So I was killing 2 drones at the same time, and I would have killed him a little bit faster. I don't think it would have made any difference. It's hard to tell. Now for the dual ASB Vagabond. This thing is pretty sweet. I'm fighting against 4 destroyers and 2 frigates in a medium plex, faction warfare plex. You can see I have drugs. I also have low-grade crystal implants, and I also have links in system for shield resist, point range, and I think speed. So I have links. I've got all the good stuff. Souped out Vagabond. 2 large ASBs. Guns, medium nuke. Nothing too special. Small drones to kill the frigs. As you're about to see that you need those drones. So I'm going in. I know what's there. As I'm going in, I take a look at whatever's there, and I automatically, in my head, calculate how much DPS is on the field. And then I also look at what's got the most DPS and what can I kill the fastest. So right now, my first primary target is that catalyst. Typically, on average, you got to work on averages here, the catalyst is going to have the most DPS. Take my drugs, move on to the catalyst. I want to kill that catalyst as fast as possible. Catalyst can do well over 300 DPS, and in the hands of a good pilot, quite a bit more than that. So the catalyst, we're going to pop that. That's 200 DPS off the field. Then for some reason I chose the Tristan. That's, 100, 150, maybe 200. I'm going to take that off the field. Having to work my tank a little bit, having to use both boosters when usually I would only like to use one at a time, so I have the other to use after the one runs out. I should have went the Korax instead of the Tristan next. The Korax has much more DPS output than the Tristan, but I don't, just heat of battle. Overload my guns, try to get everything I can out of this thing, put my drones on the frigates. Unfortunately, my guns are missing quite a bit. And then I go to the Cormorant instead of the Korax. Well, the Cormorant's got quite a bit of DPS too, so. Cormorants, it all depends on how they're fit. I would say on average you're looking at about 100 to 200 DPS, but it's possible to do maybe up close to 300 on a Cormorant. So you see, my tank's really struggling here. I'm going into structure. I'm having to overload like hell. But, a good offense is a good defense. So not just trying to stay alive, but trying to kill as much as I can, as fast as I can here, is really crucial. I've got to kill that Cormorant right now. He's down. I've got to kill the Korax. The Korax has me pointed and webbed. You can look up in the overview. I'm pointed and webbed by the Korax. He is my threat. Need to get those drones off the coercer and onto the Korax. There we go. Overload the guns. I have no more reps left. Luckily, the Korax is not really doing much DPS to me. And I am slamming him. He's down. Now, I quickly think, should I fight this coercer or should I get out? I'm in structure. I'm getting out. I'm getting out of here. So I select anything in space and warp. I leave my drones. Who cares? And I get out of there in structure. That was a really fun fight. And one of the many fights I've had in ASB ships lately. I'm making a sort of ASB guide recently. And this is just one of the fights. You should see my Cyclone fights. The Cyclone is a monster. And you'll be seeing that pretty soon. So that's it, and I hope you enjoyed this narrated video. Check out the site, EVE Pro Guides, for more videos like this and more guides. And I will see you next time.